we're here today to talk about craft excellence, and it's something very close to these women's hearts. And I was with them earlier today, and boy, do they know each other, and they speak the same language, and I'm just sitting there listening to them. Anyway, let me first introduce Melody. Melody Sylvester, she's jury president in animation. She's the former global managing director and executive producer commercials of Common People Films. She's now an independent industry consultant, has been in the business for over 30 years. And what I like about her is she's committed to working with young people to increase access to the film and advertising industry. Very nice. Then we have Kai Luciang, judge in direction, global managing director of RSA Films, Ridley Scott Films, by the way. From reception through the production assistant, producer, Cannes Award-winning executive producer, and managing director. As an executive producer, Kai has picked up top awards for notable works including Life in a Day film by Kipchoge.
Like Kevin MacDonald was the director. Sorry,
Okay.
Kipchoge was a documentary.
Yeah. And then The Last Milestone.
That's Kipchoge.
That's the one.
Yeah.
And then Robbie Williams' documentary and cutting-edge branded shorts for Red Bull, Philips, and Jaguar. Yep.
Mine's too short.
Sally Campbell, she's jury president in Cinematography, co-founder and chief executive officer at Some Such. They were the most awarded production company in D&AD in 2015. She's from New Zealand. She resided in London, and now she's in LA. She started her career in the ad agency business in production, WCRS, then at BBH, switching to production companies, producing and managing director at Academy Films. Welcome. Okay, now let's take a peek into the deliberation behind this year's most finely crafted commercial storytelling with our judges for the craft jury. They're going to look at creative excellence in animation, cinematography, and direction. So we're going to show some films that they've chosen, and Melody has chosen a piece of film. Let's take a look at it.
I saw a photograph of me today. It made me cry. Because it reminded me of who I used to be. The world got a bang on the head in late 2019. And everyone is wondering when things will get back to normal. Maybe there will never be a normal. Maybe there will be a new normal. And it scares the shit out of us. Because nothing will ever be the same again. And sometimes it fills us with hope, because things can always get better. I had my own bang on the head on the 2nd of July at 12 noon 2020. And I too am waiting, hoping to get back to the old me, back to the normal I knew and struggled with for the last 58 years. I want me back. You see, when I woke up different. I still don't know by how much, or for how long. The wounds healed miraculously fast. The bathroom mirror gave a false hope of a swift and fast recovery. I look fucking fine, but I feel like shit half the time. I get tired and I can't push through it. It's a profound tiredness that makes your eyes close when you're still talking, makes your vision blur. A band tightens around your brain slowly and pulls you backwards away from reality into a flickering world of semi-sleep and quietness. Back to normal. The car came under me like a flash of blue. That's all I knew of it. The traffic lights had just turned green and I pulled out along with the other cars. I was on a bike, on my way across town to meet two colleagues. I was out like a light and only have eyewitnesses' accounts of what happened. Apparently I stopped just before the car hit me side on, came underneath me, before carrying on to hit another car crossing the lights from the other direction. And then it stopped. My nose was broken. My retina in my good eye was partially detached, and I had a bleed in the eye causing an ocular occlusion. I had a bunch of stitches to the face and leg, and there was a small bleed on the brain. I've been hurt before, and I know how it feels, and I know how it heals. But the brain bleed was new, and so was concussion. I get tired, and I can't think straight. At least not when I get tired. In the mornings I'm fine, and every day offers the hope of the old normal. It gives me a glimpse, promises me. But every day, like clockwork, the old me gives in to the new. I try to fight, but I always lose. So mainly I don't fight anymore and just welcome the stranger in. You might like him. He's quiet, thoughtful, tidy, reserved. I fucking don't. He's a fucking fuckwit who can't do shit, who I do not trust. I don't know him, what he'll do, what he won't do. I'm finding out, and I hate him even more. Not because of any other reason than he's not me. But of course he is me. He's my new normal. He can cut grass in the afternoon after a nap. He can polish and fix things and make tea. So right now, life is split 50 him and 50 me. We swap about 3. He does the afternoon shift and lets me back in around 6 or 7 in time for tea. If I try and block him, or eat into his time, get him to knock off early, he's a cunt. A real fucking dick, and he makes my brain ache because it's addled, breaks my heart with not letting me think, and he wins. And I learn to let him have his time. I've met so many people who've had the same thing, a knock on the head. Many of them I knew. They've shared the same story, and they say give it time, because to fight is to lose. It's all that Lucy from the concussion clinic does. She takes people like me, lots and lots of people like me, through the process. She tells me what I don't want to hear. She holds my hand, metaphorically, and leads me in and out of the darkness that I lie and tell her isn't really there. She drew me a graph of how I would slowly fall, how I wouldn't be able to do some of the things I used to do, how I would try and fail, and how frustration would lead to depression, and where depression takes those who don't hold on to the hand. So I'm holding on to the hand every afternoon. I am learning to love the new me. I will welcome them in for the time they are here and wish them good luck if they ever choose to leave. She told me brains take time to heal, much more time than the facial lacerations or the broken nose. So if you want the old me, see me from dawn till, say, 3. After that, it's the new me, who I'm just getting to know. But one thing for sure is I know he loves a cup of tea. I'm tired now. Thanks. I'll just close my eyes for a second.
Testament to the power of animation. So, Melody, why did you decide to pull this spot out?
So the animation category obviously is quite diverse. There's a lot of different subcategories. So obviously there's 2D, there's 3D, there's motion design, there's traditional use of emerging tech, and this was submitted into the mixed media category. And it was just so, it's such a sort of complete piece of work. It's so layered, and all the different assets that have gone into making it, that have then been captured and manipulated and processed as if to make it feel as if it's been generated by like an MRI machine or an X-ray, just to underpin the whole sort of the medical aspects of it. And I think it's clearly it was made for to raise awareness around brain injury and concussion. It was part of a sort of in New Zealand a national awareness month for those kind of injuries. And we see a lot of work that's made for purpose and charity stuff, which is all brilliant. And in fact, lots and lots of great work comes through that channel, as we know, and award-winning work. But this, and there was quite a few bits of that nature in the category, but this just cut through. Like it stood out right from the beginning. And in fact, it stood out for me right from the very beginning, when we were looking at the hundreds and hundreds of entries, of which there were loads. Not as many in mixed media. And yeah, it's just a consummate piece of work. And I think we tried to apply a lens of, does it transcend the category? Is it more than the sum of its parts? And we think it really does. And it would be just as at home in an art environment, in a gallery. I couldn't see what it was like up there. It doesn't do it justice on that.
No.
There.
I'm hoping that you could see all the layers and the detail that went into it. But yeah.
And I do like the title. It's called The Diary of a Head Injury.
Diary of a
Right?
head injury. Yeah.
Yeah.
DOAHI. Yeah.
And it's all black and white, wonderful audio. Did you consider, of course, you're looking at it from an animation point of view, but it also scored well in voice, casting, and sound design?
I believe so. I mean, obviously, when we're judging it and we're in the sessions, we don't necessarily know what else it's been entered into, but we definitely talked a lot about, as a consummate kind of complete piece of work, the voiceover is incredible. We think the writing was incredible.
Yeah.
I understand it may well have been entered into that in another category. The sound design, for me, it's restrained. It's really nuanced. And I think all of that underpins how authentic it feels. None of us knows what it's like to have a brain injury, and hopefully none of us will ever find out.
But Sally, was it ever in your category at all?
No, because we
No.
were cinematography, so
All
it
right, got it.
didn't make it in. But when
I'd love to hear your point of view. I mean, now that you've seen it. Yeah.
well, Melody showed it to me, and I just think it's fucking amazing. I love it. I think the writing is beautiful.
Yeah.
The casting of the voiceover is amazing. He does it so well, even though he's British, not a New Zealander, which is kind of odd.
I was going to ask.
Yeah, but anyway.
Anyway, but thank you. Now we're going to look at another spot, something Kai has chosen in direction. Let's play the spot. It's long form. It's a documentary.
Yeah. So we'll play a bit of it, and then we'll turn the sound on, and you can just watch it, because it's very beautiful, but it's 18 minutes long.
It's 18 minutes long.
But that would take up the whole session. So yeah, we won't play it all.
All right. Please play the spot. Thank you.
Bonjour les enfants. Bonjour les enfants, vous allez bien? Oui. Super. Alors tey dañuy waxtaanee ku ci nekk loo bëgg a nekk boo màggee. Xaaral ma commencé ci rangée bi. Kan moom mën a wax lan la bëgg a nekk? Yow au fond noo tudd?
Abigail.
Abigail. Yow soo màggee loo bëgg a def?
Dama bëgg a daw.
Da nga bëgg a daw comme kan?
Comme Amir Mbacké Thiam.
Xaaral ma ñëw xool keneen. Yow mii di décider. Noo tudd?
Maam Yàlla may ma ndox. Su ma dundee fay la ndox. Maam Yàlla may ma ndox. Su ma dundee fay la ndox. Maam Yàlla may ma ndox. Su ma
pour tey nag pare nañ kon maa ngi leen di jox suba ngeen teel a ñëw dégg ngeen. Aywa mën ngeen dem ngeen def nànk nag. À demain, Inch'Allah, ne courez pas. Au revoir. Adieu. À demain. À demain. C'est fini. Allez, à demain.
So tell me, Kai, you chose this All Day I Dream About Sport campaign. Could you tell us why you chose this?
Yeah, well, in
campaign
the direction jury, there were a lot of pieces, as Melody also started with, over 300, I think, and obviously whittling down, it was very hard because some excellent work, but the subcategories are very diverse. This is in documentary, there was obviously 15-second ads, 30-second ads, short films, and music videos. So I'd say that was a real challenge for us to try and look at the craft and keep direction in mind. And we've also got this because it was in cinematography as well.
Yeah.
And I think from Sally's point of view, it was also noticed because it is very, very different. But I think another point that we wanted to make about this is a very brave piece of work, and Adidas paid for it, and you'll spot one bit of branding in the whole 18 minutes. So I think that, again, is something that is really, really encouraging moving forward when you're trying to talk about how pieces of work get made, how brands can get involved. And this was obviously another piece around the Olympics last year, which I'd say is incredibly unique, and it stood out for us. So that was one of the main reasons I wanted to talk about it. But it is 18 minutes long, and I know for some people, when you're looking at a lot of short things, to suddenly stop and actually have to concentrate for that amount of time does require a different headspace, really. So you've just got to sometimes give these pieces a bit of time, and it did divide the jury. So I thought that was very interesting. I can't sort of divulge exactly why, but it really was one of the pieces of work that got talked about, good or bad. I think that's also something worthy.
And how about in your category, Sally? This also was
Yes.
part of,
very similar.
Cinematography, yeah?
Yeah, very similar thoughts and discussions to Kai, actually. It's so beautifully shot, and the lighting is incredible, especially on the black and white. I think the lighting on the black and white is exceptional. But there were some strong opinions, again, either way. So we did talk about it a lot. Yeah, I mean, you guys will see the result. Not now, obviously. But I just think it's a really powerful piece of work.
Now, just wondering, in the judging room, when you're looking through so many pieces of film in your respective categories, especially for direction, there are many formats, right? Do you see a common trend or approach to a film in the entries that you saw? I mean, it's quite broad. You have long form, short form. There's a lot of things to go through. And I know you have a point about the categories in direction.
Yeah, that was hard to sort of break down in direction. But I think looking at the work that Sally noticed as well, there's a lot of black and white.
Yes.
Noticed? A real increase in...
Why do you think there is an increase in black and white?
And I think
these
there's
days?
film as well. Did you get told if it was in film?
Apparently it was, yeah.
Yes, I think there's a lot of film.
I think the black and white, it's just like everything else. A few years ago, it was what we call whiz-bang, which was transitions that go all over the place. And this year, it feels like black and white. People want to do something different. And, you know, there's not a lot of choices. So
There was some discussion about it could be that it's in a digital age.
Yeah.
It tends to go around in cycles, and so people start to look back at the traditional or film or analog or black and white. Feels like it underscores the cinematic aspect, and so it feels like in animation we noticed that there was quite a lot of typography.
Interesting.
And we think that there might also be a kind of a. It's probably like corresponds to your black and white.
Yeah.
Trying to get back to something that feels handcrafted, because I mean the other thing, which I'm sure we'll touch on, is the other topic, which is AI. It felt like people just want to be also showing what they can do in other specialisms. So maybe that's what that is. But I mean, look at that.
It's beautiful.
Gorgeous.
But there's black and white, and there's black and white.
Yeah.
Just for the record, this is.
I don't know if that was shot in black and white.
That's what I wonder.
It looks like it might have been, but
No, it's good. As you say,
Hard
it's
to know.
quite deliberate these days, right?
I mean, that is just stunning.
beautiful.
Photographer and director, right?
But that's the other thing in the direction category. You're not allowed to talk about who did it.
No, we're not
really
going to say.
hard, so we're not
obviously
to
we can't say.
Oh, I was going to say,
But it feels photographic.
But everyone
Yeah,
goes home and looks and goes, oh.
All
that's
right.
it.
Well, we're going to move on to more general themes about production. I remember you mentioned that there's a lack of 2D work. Is there?
There was a lack of 2D work.
Yeah. Why is that an issue, though? I'm just thinking.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what I say. We had something like 258 entries to watch.
Okay.
And the 2D, which is historically is usually quite an abundant category, I would say, in animation, there wasn't as much. We didn't think, and we wondered if it's because it's perceived to be quite labour intensive and therefore expensive.
Right.
And
You said there's still drawing involved, right? Into
yeah, I mean the category is 2D digital, so whether it's physically drawing it, but the output would look and feel 2D, and it would use 2D craft, and we wondered if it's not being commissioned. We wonder if it's not being commissioned by clients, or if it's not, perceived to be the thing to do. There was definitely 2D work in there, but it just felt like God, I don't want to get into trouble. But it just felt like a slightly thinner category.
That's a good way of explaining.
Thinner.
Okay, can you tell me, in your jury rooms, what were the debates and points of discussion? Did everyone sort of agree with the choice, or were there debates in the room where you had to push for things? Yeah.
It was it was a healthy debate. It was
Healthy debate,
It was
okay,
very
good.
healthy, and also I think the juries are made up of very different disciplines. There were 3 directors, 3 producers, and 1 agency creative. So it was a really good balance, actually. And you could see they came at things in very different ways. The directors were very tend to agree on things. It's funny. The productions,
Agree in every judging room.
They're making a decision? Fucking hell. That's rare.
Well, we look forward to tonight's winners. Now, one of the things I wanted to talk about, of course, the conversation about AI. Now, are you terrified by AI and it's coming into everything we do now, whether it's the output or in production? Can I get your point of view?
I'm going to say I'm not terrified.
No?
I'm going to say I'm super curious about it. I tried to focus more on how it increases creativity, and does it increase access to people who are doing it. And what I like about AI is that it's not financially prohibitive. People and the work that I've seen, and a lot of the young creatives that I've seen who are embracing AI are doing it from home, making incredible work, putting it out on Instagram, and actually getting attention from commissioners, be it in music video, photography, or advertising. I mean, advertising people are all over Instagram. I like that, and I like the churn, and I like the fact that the voices that are coming through from there are diverse, and they're not asking for permission, they're just sort of doing it. I am also hugely aware of the fact that there are issues around it. But as producers, and stop me if I'm wrong, but we're used to challenges, and we're used to dealing with them, and we're used to working out how to protect the artists and how to make sure the work is cleared and that we don't break anything. So I think it's really interesting, and it's going to be really exciting to see how it's used.
How about you, Sally?
Trying to be positive, but
Yeah.
I'm probably more on the
the
terrified side.
we've got to have some balance.
But that's because I come from live action, and
Okay.
and so you know, it's something that could really affect my company and my side of the industry.
Yeah.
And also, I'm terrified because I'm absolutely ignorant. I mean, I haven't spent the time to get my head round it properly yet. I've still got my head firmly in the sand, trying not to worry too much.
Now, ad agency people also trying to resist using AI in their craft. You know, I can.
Well, but the issue we're having at the moment is clearance. So
Yep.
everyone's arguing about who's going to sign the clearance form, and no one wants to sign it because no one wants to get in trouble.
Yeah.
So that's meaning that a lot of AI isn't being used when it could have been.
Yeah.
How about you, Kai? You have a.
I mean, I
point?
think both points of view, but for me, the terror comes more from when it's used in recreating people and chatbots and you know, people becoming friends with AI, and
Yeah.
for youngsters, I think that to me is the absolute
Yeah.
terrifying side of it. I think for creative use, it's like another tool, like you're saying. It's you
Yeah.
know, we suddenly leapt into using digital when film died.
Yeah.
Obviously, people are still using film, but I think as a you know, to enhance and speed up what you're doing, it can be amazing. But it's like anything, there's a flip side, and when it's used and gets into the wrong hands and can definitely imitate things,
Yeah.
that's when it gets very spooky, and you're wondering what's real and what's not real. I think that's the
Yeah.
danger area.
It has a huge, obviously, political aspect to it, but I guess framed in this discussion from a creative point of view, there could be something really interesting and exciting, and unfortunately, whether we like it or not, we're going to have to explore it and embrace it, and get to know it, I guess. Because
Okay, that's all the time we have. But since we have people in the room, how would you hone? I mean, what would you say to young people who want to get into production, animation, cinematography? One last question: how can they better hone their skills
gonna have a
at this
drink.
stage?
Well, it's a tough industry at the moment. I mean, it always has been, but it's particularly tough at the moment. So you need to try and get out there and be super proactive, be different, try and do stuff that's original. Yeah, I mean, it's really about getting the attention. I mean, you know, social media is good for that. You know, all three of us are on social media, and we find some of our directors just from scrolling on social media and seeing something we really love, and then I'll send it to our music video person and say, who made this? And then you meet them. So, you know, that's really important. Just make it. Don't wait for someone to come to you. Make it.
Well, thank you very much for that. We don't really have much time, but I hope you enjoyed this session. And thank you very much, Kai, Melody, and Sally. Thank you.